Okay, so hopefully this one will work. We just had some more technical issues on the last flight. We are on the ground at Marine Corps Air Station Yuma, and this flight is going to take us about 140 nautical miles to the west, pretty much following along the US Mexican border, over towards San Diego, and then to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, which is the home of the Top Gun Naval Academy, Naval Aviation Academy. We, however, are in the civilian Beech Baron 58, and we will be flying using VOR navigation. We have 3 VORs that we will be navigating using. This is our flight plan. We're starting off on the lower right hand side of the page and flying to the towards the west, over towards San Diego, and then up to Miramar. We should be on the ground there in about 45 minutes or so. So anyway, I will run through the checklist. We'll get the aircraft started up, and then we can program in our route and get out of here. So first of all, passenger parking brakes are on, seat belts fastened and secure, gear selectors down, throttles are idle, the propeller controls are now full forward, cowl flaps are open, fuel selectors are on. That's on the left, on the right. Radio masters are off, electrical switches are all off, heater switches are off, and the prop sync is on. So alternators on, battery master is on, anti-collision lights are on, beacon is on, the gear lights we have 3 green, propeller controls are high RPM. So engine 1 on the left, we have mixture control fuel rich, throttle is full open, we'll run the boost pumps, so that'll do. Pumps are off, okay. Throttle is closed and opened 1/4 of an inch, magnetos right, left, both, and start. So oil pressure is in the green, alternator load is in the green, we have no warning lights. So we'll do the same for engine number 2. Throttle mixtures full rich, throttle is full open, run the boost pumps, that's fine. So throttle closed, open 1/4 of an inch, and on the right side magnetos right, left, both, and start. Again, oil pressure is good, alternator load is good, and we have no engine annunciator lights. We have one for the pitot heat, so I'll just go ahead and switch that just now. So avionics on, we'll listen to the weather while they fire up.
Kilo November Yankee Lima Airport information, Quebec 2300 Zulu. Wind 009 Red 8. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,800 feet, few clouds at 4,800 feet, few clouds at 13,800 feet. Temperature, 20. Dew point, 10. Altimeter 29.92. Visual runway 03 right and visual runway 03 left in use. Landing and departing runway 0 tree right and runway 0 tree left. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Quebec.
So...
Kilo November.
Okay, so I'm gonna have a look on the map first so we can work out where we are in relation to the runways. So let me open the charts here. So we are at Kilo November Yankee Lima, Kilo November Yankee Lima. Open charts. Okay, so there's the chart open. I probably left that open the full time there, I just noticed that. Runway 3 left and 3 right are in use, so those are the runways towards the bottom left side of the map diagram. If I remember rightly, we're at parking 46. So we're up at the top right hand corner, so it looks like it's going to be quite a long taxi unless we get runway 3 right. So let me close this and we'll continue on with the pre-taxi. So we got the weather and the ATIS. Altimeter is set 2992. Transponders are set 1200 and standby. Fuel selectors now to crossfeed. So that's them on crossfeed. We'll turn the taxi light on. Oil temperatures are good in the green, and I'll continue setting up the Garmin before we taxi out. So option 3 for the winds. Bearing 1 is Nav 1, bearing 2 is Nav 2, and on this side we will change from north up to heading up. So that's fine, and we'll keep the map zoom as it is. So the nav frequencies, first VOR is 113.7, second VOR is 115. So we'll dial that into standby 1 and nav 2. No readings from either as yet, and it was the 257 radial inbound. Our flight today, I think we won't go that high. Let me just check the charts for minimum en route altitudes. Looks good for say 6,000, and that's all good. So we got everything set up as we need it. We will now go ahead and talk to the ground and ask for taxi to the active runway. So we'll be heading to the west.
Yuma ground, Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo request taxi for departure to the west with Quebec.
Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo taxi to and hold short of runway 0 tree left using taxiway Delta Echo cross runway tree 5 Foxtrot. Contact tower on 119.
3 left, my goodness. 3 left, Delta Echo cross runway. Alright. Delta Echo cross runway 3 right. Well, we don't need to cross runway 3 right, but
taxiing hold short runway 0 tree left
right.
by taxiway
Okay.
Delta Echo cross runway
So,
3 5 Foxtrot Beechcraft
we'll
Alpha
release
Romeo
the
Kilo.
brakes. I'll move away from this guy. And So this will be a bit of a long taxi down to runway 3 left. Bit of a silly placement for some of these marker lights. Thankfully, flight sim isn't coded to crash us for ground obstacles. There's some funky aircraft parking across on my left. I need to go back to the taxi chart just to make sure I don't get lost. If you can see over there on the left, there's a Cessna that's kind of half in the ground and half out the ground. His engine's still running as well, so maybe he crashed. This dude here, he's not doing so well. Right, so I think we need to make, I can see the taxiway now, so this is the taxiway that runs parallel to runway 3 right. Again, thankfully we can't crash into any ground obstacles because there are a couple of cars down here. We get into a bit of a standoff if we were just to wait, so we're just going to drive right on through them. Can't beat a bit of realism. There we go. So this taxiway should take us all the way down. Runway 3 right is the shorter of the two. I wonder if there's an option to reselect another runway. Nope. Said this was going to be about a 45-minute flight. Might be about a 45-minute drive just to get to the runway. So we do have to cross a runway here. I thought he'd said that we crossed runway 3 right, but it's actually runways 35 and 17. Ah, he did say cross runway 35. So I never heard that part. So we'll just take a look along left and right. There's nothing there. We'll continue past the hold point here. Runway 3517 is just to the right there. So we're about halfway to the holding point for runway 3 left. Actually, can we use hotel? Delta Echo. So that's Foxtrot on our right. There is, we don't need to use the full length of the runway here. There is another turn further down here on the right. Should be Echo or Hotel. We'll go down to there. So that'll be the next one on the right will be Papa. A little bit of power, we're going up the hill here. This next turn on the right should be Papa. Three right Foxtrot. I think they've, I can see it on the map, so that's definitely not Papa, Foxtrot. So we do have to, we can take the next one. This next one up on the right will take us to Holding Point Hotel for runway 3 left. Save us going all the way down to the bottom. Hope the tower will let us do an intersection takeoff. Watch into the tower now. This one is also marked as Foxtrot, so they haven't done a great job of... They've done a good job in terms of the layout, but they haven't got the IDs correct. So we can take off from here. I can see that we have the option to request takeoff clearance. So the before takeoff checklist, it's just going to be a standard takeoff. We'll be heading to the north. It will be a left turn after departure, and we'll look to pick up the 257 radial outbound from the VOR located on the field. So flaps are retracted, fuel boost pumps are off, anti-collision lights are on, beacons on, landing lights are on, transponder is 1200 in standby, mixtures are full rich. Autopilot is off, yaw dampener is off, cowl flaps are open, and we have pitot heat for ice protection. It's warm enough that we don't need windshield heat or surface.
Yuma Tower Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo ready at runway 03 left west departure.
Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo altimeter 29er.9er 2 wind 009er at 8. Departure to the west approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 03 left.
So there's nothing around.
Cleared for takeoff.
We're clear for
runway
takeoff.
03 left Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo.
So we'll taxi out. As we line up, we will center the heading back. So that's about there. Okay, so power up.
Tower Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo continue for west departure.
So we'll bring the props back to 2500. So we're coming up on 1800 feet. I'll engage the autopilot. We will select flight level change, and so I'm going to just double check, zoom in. We want 2500. So 2500 on the RPMs. So that's good. Talk to the tower.
Yuma Tower Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo frequency change.
So we will make a left heading 270. So we'll run through the climb checklists. Props are 2500 RPM, power's full, gear is up, trim set by the autopilot, yaw dampeners on, cowl flaps are now closed, fuel boost pumps are off, taxi and landing lights are off, and we have pitot heat ice protection. So that's the climb checklists complete. So we need to make a bit more of a turn to intercept our radio. So there's the airport that we just departed down there, off the left wingtip. Flying into the sun. So 6,000 feet. We will reduce the prop RPM back to 2300. That's 23 on the left, 23 on the right. The needle for our course needle is moving down to the center, so we'll keep our eye on that, and once it gets a little bit closer to the middle we'll select nav mode and the aircraft will turn to the right and we will track towards the Mike X-Ray Lima VOR, which is 28.7 nautical miles from our present position. So that's the airport that we just departed from. We're flying almost parallel to the runway that we took off from. Somewhere down there is the US-Mexican border. So the needle's almost in the middle. I select nav hold. So we actually have the Papa Golf Yankee VOR, which is the last VOR on our flight plan, and it shows as being 150 nautical miles. If I remember rightly, it's located at or somewhere in the region of San Diego. So I'm gonna just having a look at the charts for Miramar Marine Corps Air Station. There's two parallel runways, 24 left and right, and 6 left and right. 24 left and 24 right and 6 left are being the longer ones at 12,000 feet. So here's the chart. 6 left, 24 right at the top there. That's the longer of the two runways, and 6 right, 24 left, being 8,000 feet. Either or, plenty of room for a beach barren. I don't know if there's any arrival charts, so I'll have a look. Approach charts, 24 left, 24 right. So yeah, there are approach charts, but we will get a little bit closer in and check with ATC and see what we are assigned. So the cruise checklist prop is set for 2300 RPM. And the power is 23 inches of manifold pressure, so that's set. Gear is up, trim is set, the autopilot is on, yaw dampener is on, cowl flaps are closed, fuel boost pumps are off, landing lights are off, and we are Just read through the wrong checklist there. That's the climb checklist. So cruise checklist. Power is 2300. Trim set. Fuel boost pumps off. Cowl flaps closed. Heading indicator. We're flying 258 on the 257 radial. Ice protection is pitot heat. So we're all good. Cruise. We've got a ground speed of 186 knots. We've got a very, very slight headwind at 3 knots. That's fine. And we have 19 nautical miles to run to our waypoint. So let's have a look outside. I was going to sneeze there for a second. I was going to try and turn my microphone off, but it seems to have escaped me. So over there on our left is Mexico, and over here on our right the United States of America. Somewhere down there is the border. Don't see any sign of Donald's Wall or Donald either. But I'm sure he'll be back. Alright, so everything's in the green. Fuel flow is good. Cylinder head temperature is good. We'll come back on the mixture a little bit to improve the fuel flow and give us a little bit more engine power. Oil pressure is good, alternator load is good, and the fuel quantity is good. Excuse me. We have 11 miles to run to the Mike X-Ray Lima VOR and 99 nautical miles to run until San Diego. The VOR Hoggy, which is located just beside Brownfield Municipal Airport at San Diego. We might actually switch to go VFR from there. Take a look over the San Diego harbor and bay area. Have a look at the see if we can see any of the aircraft carriers and stuff down there. Wouldn't be permissible in real life, but that's one of the good things about flight sim. But we'll use the IFR navigation to get us to San Diego. So the sun is over there. I don't think that it's going to be around too much longer. Local time is 1 minute before 5 in the evening. I'm not sure what time the sun sets around here. Plenty of time for our flight anyway. We'll jump back to outside view for a little while. ATC, ask them to follow us on radar.
Mexicali approach Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo is type Beechcraft B58, 4 miles east of Mexicali, 6,000 feet. Request flight following.
Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo Mexicali approach. Squawk 0212.
0212 on the squawk.
0212 Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo.
Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo radar contact 3 miles east of Mexicali, 6,000 feet. Altimeter 200.92.
Roger Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo.
So, ATC has us located 3 miles east of Mexicali, and we're at 6,000 feet heading westbound towards San Diego. I can see an airport or a runway underneath the aircraft right now. Maybe it is Mexicali Airport. I don't know. There it is down there anyway. Forget that when I use the yoke to change views from showcase view, it goes to a ground view from, I presume, the nearest airport on the ground. But so let's go back to the cockpit because we must be pretty close to our waypoint. So we're 3.3 nautical miles out. For some reason we have we'll just leave the aircraft flying on this flight. We don't have a change of heading from this waypoint. We still continue on the 257 radio. We've overflown the waypoint, so we'll select nav again. Just check on our flight plan. So if I open this here, we're just on the right hand side of the page where it says 25788, which is the radio and the distance between the two waypoints. So we have we're just a few miles past there. We got 80.5 nautical miles to reach the Poggy VOR, which is the one on the left hand side of the page, and from there it's a right turn up to Miramar. Just ahead of that VOR is the San Diego, the port of San Diego, and the coast. So we'll probably continue on over that way and descend and have a little look around. So let me get rid of this. This is Mexico over on this side of the aircraft, and the United States on this side. Not the most scenic part of the United States, right enough. over some large urban area. Let me just have a quick look on my Google Maps. That is Mexicali, or it was.
Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo, contact Mazatlan Center on 128.3. Good day.
Going to 128.3 Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo.
So just zooming in on the map view there, I think that the yellow line on the just on the right hand side of the aircraft, I think that is the border. So check in with the next controller.
Mazatlan Center Beechcraft Golf, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo 6,000 feet.
Beechcraft Golf, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo Mazatlan Center altimeter 29.9 continue as planned.
Terrain is starting to rise up ahead of us. We're alright at 6,000 feet for now.
Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo contact Los Angeles Center on 128.15. Good day.
Going to 128.15 Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo.
We've got some peaks marked, I can see on the VFR chart at up to 5,000 feet, some of them, or just under. Just going to zoom in a little bit closer. I'll show you on the map here, the VFR map. this is kind of we're following the purple line. 4,900, 4,845, 6,300 to the north of us, but nothing higher than 3,808 on. So we'll stick at 6,000 feet for now. Radio traffic is getting a lot busier as we get closer to San Diego. Just going to go back to cockpit view and have a check on. So 2300 RPM, 2290 it's dropped to on the right, so we'll adjust that. 2300, 23 inches of manifold pressure. Cylinder head temperature is good, oil temperature is good, oil pressure is good, alternator load is good, and the fuel quantity is good. We have a little under 50 nautical miles to run to the Poggy VOR at San Diego. Coming up on some pretty hilly terrain in front of us now. I'm happy to stay at 6,000 for now. And we'll be looking to switch to the inbound VOR in about 4 miles. So we'll stay in cockpit view for now. So that's 44 nautical miles, and we will switch to 116.45. We'll reselect or recenter our course indicator and select nav. So we're now tracking inbound to the Poggy VOR as opposed to outbound from the Mike X-Ray Lima VOR. Now, looking ahead, I think it might be an idea for us to climb up a couple of thousand feet. So I'm going to dial in 8,000. We'll select flight level change. We'll set 140 for the airspeed. We'll come up on the propeller RPM to 2500. For 8,500 actually, rather than, seeing as we are technically flying VFR. So 7,500 feet, 1,000 to run. That's 8,300 feet. We have a bit of a headwind as well now, pretty much straight on our on the nose at 21 knots. That's going to slow us down just a little bit. So as we level off at 8,500 feet, we'll reduce the engine RPM back to 2450. And we'll just have a check on everything. So everything is as it should be. Fuel flow is good, cylinder head temperature, oil temp, oil pressure, alternator load, and the fuel quantities are all good. I think it was a pretty reasonable shout to climb up to 8,500. There's a fair bit of the rocky stuff below us and ahead. Which is unusual because it's not marked on the map. Kind of actually is a little bit. 67, 69. Anyway. So we got about 32.5 miles to reach San Diego. 273 is a British Airways. Wonder if he's going to San Diego. Let's have a look. So British Airways 273 is estimated. So actually, he's not all that far from us just now. In real life, he's at 4,600 feet, descending towards San Diego. He's a Boeing 787-900 series Dreamliner that departed from here in London at 29 minutes past 1 local time, and he's due into San Diego at 26 minutes past 4 local. I don't see him on my map display. I don't see any traffic visually. He's been in the air for 10 hours and 54 minutes. So we have 22.8 nautical miles to the Poggy VOR, which is just to the southeastern edge of San Diego. And because of the time, it's now 24 minutes past midnight here. And I have work in the morning for the first time in about 10 days, so we'll make a direct route into Miramar and land as soon as we can. So we've just been handed over to the next controller.
Going to 120 Tree Beach Craft Alpha Romeo Kilo. Tijuana approach Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo 8,500 feet.
Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo Tijuana approach altimeter 30.19 continue as planned.
Okay, so I'm going to open the charts for Miramar, and so ATIS is on 113475, or 133, sorry, 133,475.
Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo cancel flight following.
Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo Tijuana for information 000012001259 frequency change approved. Visibility 10.
So I just cancelled flight following by accident, but that doesn't matter.
2.10. Altimeter 30.19. ILS runway 24 right and visual runway 24 left in use.
24 right, 24 left are in use.
Vfr aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft
So we'll see if we can find...
Advise controller on initial contact, you have Charlie.
Okay, so...
Miramar Airport information, Delta 0000 Zulu. Line 259er at 15.
So we'll switch that. And... tower is 135.2. So we tune to the tower. We'll request a full stop landing.
Miramar Tower Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo is 28 miles southeast, 8,500 feet with Delta to land.
Beechcraft Golf. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo Miramar Tower.
left base, 24 left.
Enter left base runway 24 left Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo.
So that's the charts for 24 right. There is an RNAV approach for 24 left. So touchdown zone elevation is 477 feet above sea level. What we'll do is we'll just route. That's an RNAV approach. So actually,
5045 airport is at your 11 o'clock, 12 miles. Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Report
so
runway in
that's
sight.
all good. Oops.
Miramar airport information.
Oops. So
Descend and maintain
let's
2,500 feet. Aero wind laces 5045.
let's run through the in-range checklist. So we have the ATIS and the altimeter is set.
Aero wind laces
3017. Ice protection is
heading 300.
pitot heat.
Contact Tijuana
Cowl
Tower
flaps
111
we will
8
open. Mixture is leaned out as we're at 8,500 feet. Fuel selectors are on, fuel boost pumps are off, and we'll turn on the landing lights. So that's San Diego just ahead of us, around about 9 miles in front. We've got a little bit of haze from the sun. The sun's starting to get pretty low in the sky in to the west there. So we'll go back to cockpit view, and we will select for 2,000 feet, which will put us 1,500 feet above. And we'll select vertical speed mode and we'll start a descent. So outbound heading from the VOR is 318. So we'll set up for that as well. 318. So slightly. For 24 left. So 24 left is the shorter southerly of the two parallel runways. So 1.3 nautical miles, so we'll start our turn. Select 318 on the course. So we're about 15 miles out. We'll increase our descent a little. Come back on the power. Make a little just bit of an adjustment on the heading so we can get back on track. So there's San Diego over there on the left. And we're headed to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, which is about 13 miles or so in front of us. Being cleared to enter left downwind for 24 left. We just have to be mindful that there's some terrain on the eastern side of the field. Alright, so we can shallow our descent a little bit. In fact, that's us acquired our desired altitude at 2,500 feet. That's, if I zoom in there, that's San Diego Airport, just off the left side now, in the distance there, just as well as the port of San Diego. So back to the job in hand. So we are headed to KNKX. So the approach course for runway 24 left is 243.
Romeo Kilo, wind 269er at 12. Clear to land runway 24 left.
So we're being cleared to land already.
Clear to land runway 24 left Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo.
The airport is about 8 miles ahead. We're cleared for left downwind, so once we establish visual contact with the airport and the runway, we'll make a right turn heading 063, and we'll descend down a little bit more, then we'll make a left turn base leg, another left turn onto final, and land on runway 24 left. There's a little bit of haze, which is screw with our visibility a little bit. We're now 6 miles to the field. So there's another airfield on our left, just by the pillar of the windshield on the left hand side there. So that's not where we're headed. I can see some buildings ahead which look like they are probably hangars. Check to the right, we've got some fairly high terrain, so we'll fly in a bit closer to the field before we turn downwind. Is definitely Miramar in front of us, so we'll check to the right, make sure that we got enough clearance to this terrain. We're going to select head-in mode and we're going to turn downwind. We're going to come back on the power, up on the mixture, and a little bit further up on the prop RPM. This is going to happen all a little bit fast. So we're turning downwind. You can see the airport just to the top of the screen there. Runway 24 left is the shorter one that is nearest towards us. Come back up on the power a bit. So we'll fly downwind until the landing edge of runway 24 left is at about a 45-degree angle, and then we'll turn base leg. In fact, we're pretty close in, so it'll be base to final. So we'll set up for landing just now. So before landing checklist, so our approach speed will be 120, we're at 132 just now. Flap setting will be approach, we've set that now, and the gear down. Looking for 120 on the speed. That's 120. And this haze is a bit of a pain in the ass. On the winds as well. The winds are from the north at 2 knots, so not anything of any concern. What is of a little bit of concern is the terrain that's rising up in front of us, so we're not going to fly too far out. Okay, so we're going to turn base leg. Looking for the field, so that's it over there. So we'll fly out in this direction for just a little bit further, and then we'll make our turn to final for runway 24 left. So runway 24 left is just coming up on our wingtip. So we'll turn to 43, which is the inbound course. Speeds are good. Okay, so there's runway 24 left. I'm going to disengage the autopilot. Landing checks. We have the gear is down, yaw dampener is off, autopilot is off, prop RPM is to the max, and we have 110 knots airspeed. So we're 500 above. On the glide. Airspeed to 105. Reducing power. After landing checks, flaps are up, cowl flaps are open, landing lights are still on because we're on the runway. There's the taxiway here, so we'll brake. Still need to get used to adjusting my feet from being on the floor and not on the brakes to on the brakes once we've landed, but
Beechcraft Alpha Romeo Kilo contact ground on 128.625.
so
Going to 128.625.
I'm just going to be a little bit naughty and taxi over the parallel runway. I saw there was nothing there. So we'll continue with this after landing checks. Once we get clear of this parallel runway, we will turn the landing lights off. So that's us clear. Now landing lights off, strobes are off. So ice protection is also off. That's the after landing checks complete. So we'll taxi on over here. Looks like an F14 or something over there, or F18 even. So we'll just taxi on over and park somewhere there, because I've got my work in the morning. And it's already the morning. So I'll go ahead and park nose to nose with what looks like an F18. Facing this way, so we'll face this way. So that'll do us there. Brakes on, parking brake set. Alright, so lights are all off. Kill the engines. That's back. Fuel's off, magnetos are off, and everything else is off. So that's it. 56 minutes on the nose from Yuma Marine Corps Air Station to Miramar Air Corps Station here in California. Well, that'll do me. I have to go to my bed. So good night.